Project Zomboid is a game about finding the best ways to inflict mental illness on yourself. You play as an unhinged psychopath as you awaken in the post-apocalyptic wasteland that is the United States of America and resist peaceful relocation into the afterlife. If you watched The Walking Dead and thought that is literally me, then you will enjoy this experience. In this RPG where your role is to have Stockholm Syndrome by being punished for just existing and edging death for longer than British royalty. Whether you are an experienced survivor or have brain damage, Zomboid is a game about freedom and not having a moral compass. You fucking bitch. It is a good sign when I recommend you a game because I am deranged and following my advice will probably get you on a watch list. This is the tale of how I learned to survive, made my lifelong friends and received a traumatic brain injury. Before you start surviving, you must first survive making your character. This is a difficult task, especially if you struggle with critical thinking. So let's make sure we create a character that properly represents us. Every character has a set of 10 life-changing skills that can only be leveled up by using them 1,000,000 times because this is gameplay and not just a symptom of my psychosis. How you play will determine how your skills evolve, which is why I choose to act like a wild animal. Farming these skills can take actual days of your life, time I could instead spend playing my favorite Chinese spyware or watching video game propaganda. But luckily for us, the developers added a trait system to make my life slightly more bearable. Now don't worry, this system is only complicated if you have the mental ability of a domestic animal. These perks range from making you an axe-wielding maniac to the ones that are boring and will vastly help your ability to not eat shit at this game. I always take strong, giving me an increased carry weight so I have more room for my essentials, like mysterious electrical devices, or to defend myself more effectively against dangerous individuals. I also recommend taking a weapon trait, but I am also insane, so that might just be me. The catch here is that the developers worship Satan, and you cannot have these perks without paying what is basically a blood tribute, with an equal amount of negative trait points for the positives. There are many ways you can choose to impair yourself, and it is up to you to choose if you'd rather be a slow driver or permanently on the verge of death. I know what I choose. Or you could just pick every negative trait and still survive long enough to make a 19-part YouTube series, because apparently I just suck at this game. Now, I'm not going to go through every single trait because there are like 100 and this is not a tier list video. But if you personally are not a fan of government handouts, skills may also be leveled faster with skill books, but that involves being literate, so I don't support it. Mastering all the skills will only take you a couple years, I think. If you start now, I may even make one whole video by the time you're done. However, you should not get too attached to your character because Kentucky is a place designed by the deranged, and it will not be long until you are also found dead, like my ever-expanding list of victims. Welcome to Louisville, citizen. It is time to claim your free lobotomy. There are 4 towns from which you can emerge and begin your life of peaceful coexistence. You will have to quickly locate food, weapons, and experience the American population, who are still less violent than British politicians. The combat is easy. Simply approach your unsuspecting adversary and proceed to violently assault your spacebar until the bloodlust stops and then root through their belongings. It helps if you target the authorities. Just make sure you do not get bitten because just like my addiction to Elden Ring, there is no cure. Don't worry though, there are only a few zombies here, just a couple, just a small amount. Luckily in Project Zomboid we have the gift of excessive violence and also running away. I could simply use Louisville's many unsupervised cars. It's like a Romanian paradise. Once we have reached safety, it is time to learn how we can properly defend our valuable belongings. There are 7 types of weapon in the game, including car, but you only get to enjoy one of them because mastering them all takes more time than Joe Biden has been alive. Your choice in weapon is largely up to you, but I recommend a knife because this game has involvement from the British. Guns are the strongest weapon by far and are only balanced by your base character being a literal caveman. However, this is easily countered by becoming a police officer, a common strategy already used by many in the land of the free, who definitely should not be trusted with a firearm. However, in my expert opinion, the best strategy is to simply use your bare hands to rip zombies apart like a chimpanzee. If you disagree, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying you suck. It works even better on other players. Armed with my weapon of choice, it is time for me to secure a more permanent state of being alive. If you are like me, you do not need to worry about crafting skills at all. I have never needed to cook, I will simply eat raw meat. What even is a door and why should I build one? We will simply rely on the wonders of American public infrastructure. After the collapse of my second favorite third world country, we may actually want to utilize crafting and survival to help with this small inconvenience. I personally love to disappear into the forest and build a house to farm for all of my needs and then be labeled an extremist by the CIA. At least this base is still better structured than this video. Every mechanic in this game has been perfectly crafted to minimize your survival time as well as my will to live. My favorite feature is the random rescue helicopter that can track you through walls and brings upon you the entire player base of Genshin Impact like you are an unsupervised child. You may die at least once in this game. Just perhaps, just maybe. I see the character creator menu more than my family. I would love to talk about the main city in the map, but I have literally never made it that far. So when I recommend you do the tutorial, please do the tutorial. These developers are clearly insane and I fear for their friends and family. Project Zomboid has got to be my favourite CIA torture method with a game attached to it, but what really brings this game together is the multiplayer. The word cooperative is only a suggestion.
I kind of want you to die so I can peel that machete off your dead body.
Instead of doing all the work yourself, you can lessen the workload by giving everyone specialist roles, where mine is putting them in the hospital if they do not work hard enough, and being problematic. You see, I do not actually like to play this game alone. I only find role-playing fun when it is on Discord. So I play this game with my friends, and I of course use the term friends loosely because they are stupid and I hate them. Fun fact, if you put pasta in a bowl, the ingredients list is hidden, so feel free to get creative, because instead of playing with your friends, it is actually more fun to play against them, without them knowing it. But be warned, because they will also play against you. If you want a fun team bonding activity, take a shot every time you are murdered and the first one in the hospital loses. I cannot really do this game justice without spending 2 hours agonizing over every facet of the late game, and again, I've literally never made it there. There's also an extensive list of mods and world customization options to talk about, but there is a billion and frankly I'm not covering that shit. So you could choose to make the game easier, but personally I just enjoy the suffering. But this game is seriously very good, and as a bonus is a cheaper and more addictive alternative to crack. And it's only going to get more expensive as it's developed, so do yourself a favor and buy this game now. Do not let capitalism win. But what if I want to see you stumble through other games like some kind of circus monkey? I hear you think. In that case, be sure to keep an eye out for future videos and leave a comment detailing your home address and daily habits. Please interact with this video to let my AI overlord know that you've had your neurons activated, and hopefully you will see me again within the next decade. This video was sponsored by Hell and Satan, and all proceeds will go towards keeping Margaret Thatcher contained in the afterlife.